Hi, my name is Keely Cat-Wells, and I am the CEO and co-founder of Making Space and Making Space Media. I'm also a disability rights advocate, and I am very excited to be here to talk about disability and accessibility and answer 7 questions around air travel and space travel. Question 1. Does the ADA cover air travel? The ADA does not apply on a plane. The ADA does not apply in the air, and that is one of the reasons why we see wheelchair users having massive issues when they travel. Over 15,000 wheelchairs are damaged every year. Disabled people have also even died because of unsafe and inaccessible air travel. It has to change. It has to change now. I am an executive producer on Fight to Fly, which is featuring and is around my co-founder, Sophie Morgan. And Sophie founded an incredible organization called Rights on Flights, which is a movement that really aims to create rights on flights and to change the aviation industry and to make it more accessible. She is a wheelchair user herself, and she had her chair damaged by British Airways, which led to this incredible movement and this film to really call for change and to tell our stories and to really create empathy over sympathy and to create action both with policy, employment, training regulations, and everything else that needs to go into creating a better industry. So the film is really being used as a powerful advocacy tool to really influence and shape the future of air travel, but also space travel. Question 2. Is it possible for a wheelchair user to go to space or become an astronaut? It absolutely is possible for a wheelchair user to go to space. And again, the organization Astro Access have also been collecting a lot of data and doing a lot of research around how wheelchair users are excelling in zero gravity and how it is more than possible for them to go to space and to really thrive. And Sophie, my co-founder, she went to zero gravity, and she actually said how freeing the experience was. She didn't feel disabled in that environment. She didn't need to navigate in an accessible world. And actually, she was better adapting to that world than non-disabled people. I don't think we have had an astronaut who is a wheelchair user yet, because once again, I think we have these beliefs around what disabled people can or cannot do, and we make these assumptions about disabled people. And I also really believe in the power of the media and how the media often forms the way that we think about disabled people. We've often seen these tropes of either villains, victims, or inspirations, and we've never seen an astronaut in a movie who's been a wheelchair user. So I think it also is really formed by that media representation, but we've also just not designed with disabled people in mind. And it's very exciting that disabled people who use mobility aids, who are deaf, who are blind, who are neurodivergent, who have chronic illnesses like me, who have hidden disabilities, are now finally in these rooms, who are designing the rockets, who are designing in-cabin accessibility, and who are really crafting these experiences so we can make it very normal for disabled people to go up to space and to thrive. Question 3. Why is the world so inaccessible? The world is so inaccessible because it has been designed without disabled people in mind. We often talk about the social model of disability, which is a way of describing disability and explaining how the world can be more accessible. And we often say we are disabled people because we are disabled by the inaccessible society that we live in. That includes communication barriers, sensory barriers, physical barriers, attitudinal barriers. And if we bring down those barriers, then we are not disabled anymore. I think disabled people have not been included in designs because there is often this assumption that disabled people don't travel or disabled people don't work, or we're often seen as niche or a small population. But disabled people make up over 15% of the world's population, and it's actually probably much more than 15% because a lot of people don't disclose, a lot of people don't even know that they're disabled, and disability is a really complex term and identity to have. So I think we have been just so left out of the processes, and disabled people have also not been hired for so long. So disabled people have not been in those decision-making rooms. Question 4. Is it possible for disabled people with neurodivergence to be astronauts? there are 2 astronauts who have neurodivergence. Pete Conrad had dyslexia. Scott Kelly has ADHD, and they have talked about that publicly and openly. So technically, disabled people have already gone to space. And now it's really exciting to see people like John McFall, who is an amputee, go to space, and people who have different types of disabilities, pan disability, as we say within the disabled community. People who are blind, deaf, neurodivergent, people with multiple different disabilities, physical disabilities, going to space. But yeah, we've already seen people with mental illness and neurodivergence go up to space. Question 5. How can advances in space travel technology help disabled people have a more accessible future? I am so excited about accessibility within space. In the wise words of the team at Astro Access, they say if we can make space accessible, we can make any space accessible. And if we look at the web, over 90% of the internet is still inaccessible to those who use assistive technology. And subway systems, in New York, they said that they're going to make 95% of the subway system accessible, but that will take 32 years. So with space, we have this opportunity to not have to retrofit. What we can do is build from the ground up and really think about universal design from day one, rather than having to fit it in later. And it's kind of like baking a cake. If you bake a cake, you can't add the flour afterwards. And that is the same with accessibility. It has to be thought about from day one in the very, very beginning. And that's what we can do with space. And then that can influence the way that we design other products and other parts of technology. Question 6. Why is it important for us to develop technology that will support disabled people? We have to create technology with disabled people in mind because, to be honest, if we don't design with disabled people in mind, then we put the entire human race at risk. We all will, at some time in our life, become disabled, whether it be temporarily, permanently, or even situationally. If we think about innovations like the electric toothbrush or SMS texting or the potato peeler, those were all innovations created because of disabled people. We've actually had a lot of conversations around toilets and waste systems, which has been very cool. But I think we all prefer to use the accessible restroom. Things that benefit disabled people are usually better and more usable for non-disabled people as well. So if we think and design with disabled people in mind, especially when it comes to things like toilets, with space travel and air travel, then it's going to naturally be better for non-disabled people as well. Question 7. What would you want aerospace leaders to know about in improving accessibility? I want aerospace leaders to hire disabled people, to invest in disabled people and accessibility and universal design, and get away from the narrative that the only way to support the disabled community is to donate. You have to invest. Disabled people are in all spaces, and we have to also normalize disabled people being experts in subjects beyond just disability. We often talk about finding the best talent. Who are the best people that can go up and do these jobs? And often people don't automatically think of disabled people, but some of the most intelligent and incredible people may be disabled. So we don't want to leave that incredible talent on the table. They need the opportunity, and the industry needs them. So intentionally make space for disabled people in every space. Thank you so much for having me and for making space for me today. I hope that you think about accessibility in your everyday life and make space for new innovations.